Hello, friends. Good morning. How is everybody? Good morning, SoLow.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
Can't complain. It's another beautiful Sunday. We are post UCS and about to talk about some more micro and macro gameplay today. I'm very excited. We got a lot of friendos in the chat this morning. We got Nanero, we got Vision, we got Ian, we got Anbu, we got James. We have, is it Lasagna, or is the J silent like in lasagna? First time here. Excited to be able to catch a stream. Excited to have you here.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us here on this post UCS Sunday. We are, I think, all of us are on the struggle bus today.
Oof.
I
Yeah.
think, I think that's
Got my coffee.
putting it mildly. Hi, Rat. Good morning, Queen. How are you? Very, very exciting day today because not only are we doing this again today, but after Unite for Noobs has ended, SoLow and Squirtle and I are going to start our review of applications for the Unite Femme Fatales competitive team. So we are really excited to start moving forward with that as well. So you're going to start seeing more movement coming from UFF. A lot of stuff I had going on the work side of things has started to calm down. So we're really going to start pushing the Unite Femme Fatales forward at this point. And get ready. It's UCS season right now. So it's the perfect time for us to start getting into the competitive side of UFF. And I'm here for it.
Oh, yeah. We need to start reviewing everything, see who wants to play where, and see what other positions we need to fill and everything else. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be a lot of fun. And I saw that Nanera said that they saw my clip from 1 HP in a dream.
Yeah.
And thank
You
you for the
you made it
compliment. I
really
unfortunately
far
couldn't.
last night, friend. You did.
I I I I couldn't make it. It was my friend. My friend is getting married, so we were just all hanging out and playing video games and everything else. So it was
I
kind
mean,
of.
listen, it was UCS yesterday. People have IRL stuff to do. Realistically, like we're so blessed to be able to review these clips. We had such a blast last night. The clips were so good, and yours made it so far. Hi, Barry. Welcome in.
Wait, which one? Because I know I submitted two. Which one?
The cram one where the Ducky Dewey saved your ass.
Oh my god!
We
Yeah, that
were,
was Fukuro.
yeah,
Fukuro
no,
with the with the snipe where he's two of them.
bro, we were like, you know what? If SoLow wins this, we're gonna have to find out who the Ducky Dewey is and like give them honorary merch too, because like,
Yeah,
all,
I was duoing with him. He was but freaking we weren't even in comms either. He literally just saw that I was about to get taken out and he just fires an arrow and takes out two of them. I was like, "Oh no."
yeah, no, it was incredible. But I tell you what, you could hear like everybody's buttholes collectively pucker at that last second, and then like the sigh of relief from everybody when the arrow came out of nowhere. It was disgusting. So you made it, I think, quarterfinals or semifinals. I think you made it all the way through. Also, I saw Matt and Barry come in. Good morning, friends. And Nem
Welcome,
Nem is
welcome.
here too. Hello. Oh, we got lots of friendos in here today.
Oh, I didn't even see that Nemi was in here. Hi, Nemi.
Allegior. Yeah, butthole puckering. So it's funny because Steve, my cat, came in last night and he was like, "So what kind of clips? Like, are you looking for like a certain HP level? Like, what do you want?" And I said, "I don't care what your HP is at. I want those moments where your butthole puckers because you're like not sure if you're gonna lose your lunch money at this point, right?" So he's like, butthole puckering. Got it.
Yes. Best way to describe 1 HP in a dream.
That's literally it. So my chat is displaying a little bit weird. So Nanera, can you do me a favor? If you see anything wonky come back, will you just let me know? I messed with something in my OBS yesterday and it's a skill issue, 100%. So
Messing with stuff that don't need to be messed with.
you know what? I'm not a tech person. I really shouldn't be touching any of my stuff. So I got a clip for y'all if we're talking about sphincter tightening up. I mean, submissions for May are open today. So, there you go. But welcome in, Allegior.
Oh.
All right, Solo. So last session, we thought we were going to be real cute and fit a whole discussion about micro and macro gameplay into a 2-hour session, and
Oof,
that did
we were
not
sadly
happen.
mistaken.
No, we were sorely mistaken. So here's the deal. So we love that you guys have questions, and especially today being post UCS, I think there's a lot of people that are going back and looking at their gameplay and seeing what could be done differently. We're also in the Chandelure meta now. We're also in the Lapras meta. Umbreon's getting ready to come, so there's a lot of things about the game that are consistently changing, which is why we have these conversations. So if you would like to ask any questions at any point in time today, use exclamation point question. It'll put you into a queue,
Yep.
and when I find a moment where Solo has a second, I will interject, and we'll get your question
Where I
asked. So
stopped
I asked that.
monologuing. It's
Yes.
fine. You can say it.
So I
You can say
ask
where
that
I
you
stopped
just
monologuing.
don't type your question in chat until we acknowledge you, because it'll probably get lost if you type question and then just throw it out there. It'll probably get lost in the phrase. So just exclamation point question. It'll put you in the queue, and we will ask for your question when we're ready. Also, I'm going to take this opportunity to allow Solo to plug a couple of things, and then we'll reference his cute little chat command where you can find more information about him. So Solo, tell the people what they can expect from you.
All right. Well, if you're new here, I'm Solo. I am a day one Pokemon Unite player. I've been on a couple different competitive teams, and I am basically here just to help out all of the newer people. I find that, a lot of people want to get better, so I really want to help them out and, impart my knowledge onto everyone else. I have a YouTube series going on that's called Beginner to Master. Unfortunately, I have not done the macro one because I want to find the correct way to break it up. Because I think there's a lot to be covered in macro, and I want to find out, if it makes more sense to do, like macro play in the first 3 minutes, macro play in the mid game, macro play the end game, and I want to make sure that like I'm getting all of the information in there so that I'm not um shortchanging people on my videos. So right now those videos are on a little bit of a delay. I'm kind of, taking notes from other people, like talking with a couple other people, be like, should I include this? Should I include this? So we'll those will get up, and I will make sure that those are available for you. As far as these are all um, the actual podcasts and everything like that are available on Crunchy's channel, I believe. You post all of them.
I do. I post the VOD so that way we can see all the real time questions too. It
Yeah,
lives in
they're available
posterity.
on they're available on Crunchy's YouTube channel, and then they're also available as to review on Crunchy's Twitch channel. She keeps her VODs. So um now, as far as everything else, I am also a Unite coach. I'm going to be coaching the Unite Femme Fatales, and I also do coaching sessions on the very low cheap side. To be honest, I've coached a couple of people in this chat. If they want to come forward and say that, if they want to keep it private, that's fine. But I helped out a couple of people, and anybody can really vouch that I'm a very like adaptive teacher. I adapt to your teaching, to your learning style. Sorry, and teach how you need to be taught.
Can
So
confirm I am a victim of Solo's coaching.
a victim.
I
Ask
mean,
her how well she secures
I
farm now.
I am a troll when it comes to securing farm now, but it was not listen, I'm a brat and I'm a Sagittarius, so it was not a fun process for me, okay? But yes, so
Um,
you can use exclamation point coaching to get more information on how to get in touch with Solo. We are very, very honored to have Solo as our first coach for Unite Femme Fatales. Honestly, couldn't be happier.
I am still looking for an assistant coach.
Yes, and we did.
I
We
am.
actually had a couple of people apply for the assistant coach position.
Oh, did they? Okay, we'll have to review that. But
Yeah.
if you do
But if
feel
you're
like you can be an
interested,
assistant coach and you
yes,
could be a very big help for the United Femme Fatales, do not be afraid to apply.
yes, yes. Solo, we do have a couple of people in queue for questions already. Do you want to take some questions before we get into our meat and
Before we get
potatoes?
into it, go
Before
for
we
it.
get into it, Allegio, you're number one in the queue, friend. Go ahead and type your question in the chat for us.
All right, let's see what we got. Come Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Oh,
It's got to be a good one.
I was like, it's either a long question or they disappeared.
Paging
Oh, there we go.
Allegior. Oh, Lucky and Reggie overrated at first rather than securing farm and capping points? Question mark.
You're talking about the first objective? So the very first Reggie's?
After the first one. So basically, I think what he's asking is it
Oh, the
more
mid
important to
ones.
prioritize securing farm and capping points after the first Luckies?
Okay, gotcha. All right, so after the first Lucky, so they should definitely be a priority, but here's the thing is that if your team, let's say you're getting beat, like you're under leveled, you're getting beat. Showing up to that bottom Reggie objective for the second time when your whole team's under leveled and their whole team is showing up for that objective, it's a death sentence. You're literally just walking into the meat grinder. So your better play is to get all of the farm on your side and possibly try to push the off lane for score for experience as well, and to kind of even up the map a little bit. So, because if you just walk, like I said, if you just walk down there and you're like, maybe if you're like a Talon Flame or you're something with like a really high secure and you can get in and maybe get the last hit and you're the only one sacrificed for it, maybe that's worth it. But your play as a team should try to get as much experience and get value elsewhere, because you're going to lose that fight 9.9 times out of 10. Because if they're over leveled and they're already in position, you're basically just asking to get wiped out.
So it's a situational if then scenario.
Yeah, it's an if then. So like if you're ahead or you're evenly matched with them, like say the levels are the same, both of your bot goals are broken, so you both are on kind of an even playing field, you go for it. You go for the big levels, you go for the big experience chunk. But if you know for a fact that if you walk down there and you're gonna lose, don't bother. Just go get your experience elsewhere and push an off lane.
Got it. All right, we have Nemesis in the queue.
Yes, Demi.
Nem, go ahead and type your question in chat. Oh, Alagior follows up asking me because my team has been finding success in just letting them have it or sending calculated resources to contest and counter pushing on pads to get big overcaps, etc. It brings us to mid-late game with huge points leads and no noticeable level disadvantage. If I could say something, and this, I mean, tell me if I'm learning. We live in Zapdos 2.0 era, so even if you have a points lead after first objectives, there's always a possibility, unless that points lead is just so astronomical that there's no way they could come back by securing Ray. The levels might be your bigger indicator in terms of success in the mid to late game.
So here's the thing. Going in with a point lead, like a noticeable point lead. Like I'm not talking about, like less than 100 points. Less than 100 points in Unite, especially in the last 2 minutes, means nothing. But going in with a point lead into the Rayquaza fight is important because it forces the other team to have to make a move. Because if they don't push in to Rayquaza, you're just going to take it for free. If they if they go to try and score, you're going to take it and walk away with Rayquaza for free. So they have to push into you. So if you're set up and you have a point lead, they have to make a move, and because you're forcing the other team to make a move, they're more likely to make a mistake that you can take advantage of. So that's why going into Rayquaza with a point lead is actually very advantageous for your team.
I see what Allegier is saying though is back in the Dreadnought days, you used to get a whole level worth of XP for your entire team. At this point, you're just getting buffs, whether it's your HP, your attack, or your defense. So there's no real level advantage at this point to bottom Reggie, and sometimes securing top Alecki isn't necessarily worth the team fight, right? Because it could turn into a bit of a feed or an int situation. So I see what they're saying. I wonder if maybe there's maybe you give consideration to the levels over the point advantage. But I do see what he's saying.
Yeah.
Um,
Before Nemesis's question gets lost in
yes.
this,
What should I
what
do
should
if I'm playing with, say, a trio or duo and our randoms don't want to rotate down for first Reggie? Should we try to fight as 2 and 3 or go top with our randoms and give first bottom pad? That is a
okay?
huge question when you're
Yeah,
playing
that
not
is
as
a
a 5
very good
stack.
question, and here is the real answer for it. There is no correct answer in this situation, and I'm going to say why. And it's because first Reggie, first Regieleki is useless unless you are pushing a tier 2. So like if they broke the top pad and then they take Regieleki and they're trying to push a tier 2, that's an okay play. I guess I don't even want to condone it because it's really not my what I usually do is I usually just try to stay I try to stay bot and like try and snipe the bot Reggie, but like it's just such a bad situation to be in when your randoms like don't understand what the more important objective is, because you want them to be down there for the help. um but it I think as a trio you could get away with going bot and trying to like 3v whatever it, but doing it as a duo, unless one of you has like a really long snipe, like you're a Decidueye or you're Espeon, or you're something that can really hit from far away, you might be inting, to be honest. I mean, you might be better off if you're a duo and your trio doesn't want to come down, um to just go with them, or maybe even just stay bot and try and hold the bot pad. Like, understand that the enemy is going to get the first Reggie, and then just as a trio try to hold, or as a duo try to hold the bot pad so that they don't just overtake it while your trio gets Regieleki and pushes for whatever score. Because what's going to happen is going to be this: they're going to go for your team's going to go for Regieleki. The other team's going to go for the bot Reggie. The other team's going to take the bot Reggie. They're going to back to base. They're going to walk up to their pad and they're going to defend the Regieleki, and then you got nothing out of it.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
would that so but would this be another situational thing if they, let's say that your opposing team sends all 5 one way or the other? Do you make a determination at that point, whether you rotate with
so,
your squad or if you just offlane and secure an objective solo?
so here is, so you're saying like if everybody rotates down, or if like no one rotates down
So
from your
let's
team?
say your duo queue, right? And you and your
Okay.
duo partner rotate for bottom objective because we prioritize that over Aleki at first objective.
Right.
And their whole team shows up. Your entire opposing team shows up. You've got 3 people now up top on Aleki with no opposition, and the entire opposing team is down bot. Do you then make that choice to walk away from a 2v5, or if you do have, let's say, somebody with really strong secure, do you kind of hang out? Because I've seen some situations where even in that situation, you'll have them zone you out, and then it becomes pointless,
Right.
while
Okay.
your team just takes the top.
So here is what I would suggest in that situation, because you're the team up top, like the team of 3 up top is going to take Regieleki, because if everybody's down bot, they're just gonna take it. So here is where you try to use the power of a split push. Like you're sack, so make you have to come to terms with the fact that you're about to sack the bottom objective. Like it's gone. You can't get to it unless you have like a really good snipe. That bottom objective is gone to you. So you and your duo partner are making the play to hold the bot pad. You have to basically hope that your trio is smart enough to break the front pad so that when they take Regieleki, Regieleki is pushing towards their tier 2. So now they have a choice to make. They either push the bottom pad and let Regieleki crash in their base or in their tier 2, or they back off after they take the objective and go and defend the Regieleki. So that's kind of like the catch-22 of a split push, is because now if they only come at your base with 3 people, they're not going to win. They're not going to overpower 2 people on base with 3 people, unless it's like, they're playing like Sword Dog or something. They're playing like Water Bear, because, they're all fair and balanced. But the whole caveat is that, like, you're either going to keep your bottom base or you're going to score in their tier 2. Both are things that they don't want to happen, but they don't want the scores to happen more. So they're gonna back off, and you basically get to keep your bot pad for free. So you gotta kind of play off of the whole split push that's happening. Like, you have to adjust your way of thinking and be like, okay, we are gonna defend this pad. We just have to kind of hopefully trust that our randoms are going to do something productive with this Regieleki. You know what I mean? So.
Okay.
But yeah.
Go ahead. Oh,
It's not a good situation to be in. I'm gonna be honest. It's really not.
Because I've often heard that when you play solo queue, you have to play everybody else's game. You can't force them to play yours. And I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to solo queue and gone into a situation where my entire team is at top Reggie. And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess for me, like, I wonder, like, how do people not understand, the difference in the objectives? But I guess everybody just kind of goes where they go.
I'm gonna tell you exactly why people do that, and it comes down to the tutorial, the original tutorial that you had to go for this game. The original tutorial for this game, if you do not look anything up on YouTube, you do not watch any streamers, you do not watch anything like that, you just play the game as you were taught in the tutorial. The tutorial prioritizes scoring. It tells you win this game by scoring. What does Regieleki allow you to do? Score instantly. So people just push Regieleki thinking, oh, I'm just going to get all of these good scores and it's going to put my team in a better position and we're going to be ahead, not understanding that it's a game of experience and a game of leveling, not a game of, like, just scoring constantly.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to push the score. You have to be able to survive what's going on. You can't just, continuously push the score on a base. Like, I played a game earlier where I had like a Charmander that literally, like, for the first 5 minutes of the game did nothing but just walk to their base and try and score. Walk to their base and try and score. He, like, didn't even try to fight the whole time. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're in master rank. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's infuriating because people, the way that this game works is that people can get to master no matter what. All you have to do is just play enough.
Right.
If you play enough, you will make it to master. But the thing is that the game doesn't punish bad gameplay. Like, you don't get punished for bad gameplay. And if people were just like, if this were a different MOBA or anything like that, if you were hard stuck in, like, veteran or ultra, and you're like, I really don't know what to do, that pushes people to like find more avenues. Like, it pushes people to go, oh, I'm gonna look at better players that are better than me, players that have made it, and see what they're doing, and then they learn, and then they move on, and then they find shows like this where they're like, oh, these people are teaching me how to play the game correctly. It's all of that. It's not that it's not that they're necessarily, like, playing the game wrong, quote unquote, because it's a game. You can play it however you want.
Right.
But to play the game efficiently, you have to know what you're doing. And if you're just doing what the tutorial taught you to do, you're not going to get very far in this game.
Which is why we hope to get the word out about this series because I feel like it's so beneficial. I mean, even just the people that we have in chat today that are asking questions shows that the game is constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, and that it doesn't really matter how long you've been playing the game. There's always going to be something that you can learn, something that you can do better, a strategy that you can adjust, or something that can be done differently. So I just, I love that we're doing this, and I hope to get the word out. We do have several questions in the queue. SoLow, people are eating this up right now. So if you're okay with it, I'll call the next one
Yep,
to the
keep
stage.
going.
All
Keep 'em
right,
going.
Mac, you are next in the Q&A queue, friend. Go ahead and type your question in chat for us. Unite for Noobs at AMA facts. Me holding my community hostage to watch this. Rat, I adore you. Have I told you that lately? Have I told you how
No,
much
I
I
love
adore
Rat
you?
Doris. She's like,
She's a
what do you call it?
queen.
She's like one of my favorite people in the community.
Okay, so Mac asks, as a support like Blissey or Clef and you're stacking, is it best to go stack with your lane partner as much as possible early or stay on your pad to try to prevent enemy stacks?
Okay, so this is first off, you have to identify if your enemy is stacking, because sometimes you'll get a lane that doesn't stack at all, and their whole goal is to just prevent your stacker from stacking. So normally, if you're going top, in a team scenario, usually like the support and the all-arounder go top. Or, but the thing is in solo queue, that kind of just goes out the window. That's just whoever goes anywhere. But, so they, as a support, your stacks kind of come secondary to your attackers. So, like, if your all-arounder is stacking, you want to get them to get their stacks early. So, as you're walking down the lane, like, your best case scenario for a support that's stacking is you want to take one of the bunnies walking down lane, and you want your stacker, like your laning partner, to take the other three, because you get more experience the more that you dunk. And so if they dunk 6, they get more experience than if they dunk 4. So you let them dunk their 6, you dunk your 2, you walk back to the middle part if it's not taken yet, like that middle ball toy. You take that and you go back while your lane part. You take that, you score, you go back and try to make a catch. If they have something that's a very strong stacker, something that has very early power spikes, like, Lucario having E-speed or power-up punch, and they have like a Lucario stacking, you want to get in the way of that stacker. You want to try and secure things over them and then try and get your stacks, because you want to make sure that while your lane partner is getting all of this power spikes and things like that, and they're adding on to their attack weight or their special attack specs or whatever they're stacking, while they're adding on to that the other lane, that your enemy lane isn't just like free stacking. You don't want them to just be able to get free stacks for nothing. And supports very early. Supports have very good secure, most of them. So like you're playing like Blissey, you're playing Eldegoss. Eldegoss is oppressive early against stackers. So if you're playing Eldegoss and you go up against like anyone that's trying to stack, just A-press them. You will catch them most times, unless they waste their X speed to get away from you. Like Eldegoss is incredibly oppressive early, so you kind of feel out the situation. With anything in this game, you kind of feel out the situation. So like if you have a stacker, they're going to get their stacks. You have a chance to go to the middle and take that middle one, and you realize that the other person is trying to stack, and it's like somebody that has really good stacks for late game. Go stop them. Go stop them. But in reality, what you should be looking for is that I really try to say that you don't want 2 people stacking in one lane, because then you're kind of having to really divvy up experience and things like that and last hits for between 2 people. But if it's solo queue, it's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Just prioritize your stacks, because you need to be as strong as you can for late game to try and carry.
I think solo queue is the only place where I consistently see absolutely zero experience share in everybody's stacks.
Okay, so the reason that people don't run experience share in solo queue is because you can't trust your randoms to be ahead of you.
Right.
That's a that because if they're not ahead of you, then your experience share is only doing half of its job. So it's like, you're kind of only getting half of an item as opposed to what you could have. You could have, like another stacking item. You could put a focus band on, you could put a buddy barrier on, and you could get more value out of it than having half of an experience share. So,
AJ's the hero we deserve. AJ says I still run experience share in solo queue.
you're a saint.
Yeah.
You're a saint of a person.
AJ is the hero we deserve. Please, please, please just duo with me and we'll call it solo queue.
Yeah, exactly.
My question
Nope.
pertains to this actually, if you want to hold off on the XP share talk. Okay, fantastic. We do, just so you know, Allegior, we actually do an awful lot of talking on the experience share. So,
And it's mostly because I feel like people don't fully understand experience share. Like,
I'm almost willing to bet if we had enough of this education distributed amongst the Unite community, like as far as we could reach it, you'd probably start to see a lot more experience share, A, in solo, duo, trio, and B, being used properly.
all right, so I feel like I've done this every single episode of Unite for Noobs. So I'm going to take the next 3 minutes and I'm going to re-explain experience share for
Okay.
everybody in the chat.
All right.
Right? Please, please listen. This is how experience share works. This is literally from the math chord.
Okay.
Experience
If
share
everybody's got your Pika taking notes emotes, make sure you're taking
with,
notes.
with experience share, the person that is wearing it will always get more. They will literally like have more passive experience. So they're going to gain experience without having to take last hits. Now, if you're walking down a lane and you are the person without the experience share, you do not have it, and you're walking with somebody that does have the experience share. Regardless of who takes the last hit on any piece of farm, the person without the experience share is going to get 100% of that experience. The person with the experience share is going to get 30% of that experience. Yes, the experience share does make 30% experience appear out of thin air. It is the only item that does that. So it does not matter if you get the last hit. It does not matter if the experience share Pokemon gets the last hit. It's still distributed the exact same.
Did you catch that,
And
Nanera? It doesn't come down to the last hit anymore.
it does not come down to the last hit. It does not matter. I was literally part of the testing for this. Like me, me and Kay Fraser from the math chord literally did this exact experiment, and I was part of it. I watched every single run of this. We did this for 45 minutes, just running experience share this, experience share with this. If we wait this long, if we do this, it was like every variable you could think of. It does not matter who takes the last hit. You just have to be within a certain range of the Pokemon that's being hit.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you are close to it, you will get the 100% while the experience share gets the 30%. It does not matter.
All right. Write that down, people. Write that down.
Also, fun fact, the experience share range, like the share range, like that you have to be within, is Eldegoss basic attack range.
Look, friend, can you help me out? Is this lasagna or is the J silent? Are you a real J and you move in silence like lasagna? Lasagna said I can't accidentally take the last hits with experience share without randos thinking I'm griefing. But again, this is so two things. I forget who was that pointed it out. The in-game description makes it seem like you have to take last hit in order
The
for it to
thing is,
work.
that actually was the case for a long time.
But they haven't updated it.
No, the thing is, last year in November, I want to say, is when they finally fixed it. It used to be like a weird bug where like it didn't work the right way that it was supposed to. So for the longest time, the person did have to take the last hit. So like the person without the experience share had to take the last hit if they wanted to
Okay.
get the full experience from it. And then they finally fixed it in last November, and now it doesn't matter who gets the last hit. So that's why people are still under this notion that the person without it still needs the last hit, because that's how it used to be and that's how it was for a very long time. But it does not matter. I promise you, it does not matter.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a clip of Solo's explanation of experience share from this VOD, and we will start circulating it on Twitter. So retweets, spread the word, share the education.
Clip it.
Clip it. Thank you, Foxy. All right. Lasagna with the J. You are up next in the Q&A queue, friends. So go ahead and type your question in chat for us.
Step on up to the plate.
Sometimes I see people skip the first two bundle and rush to the last two, usually to go stack. Is there any benefit to this? It feels frustrating to see if I'm a Mon with slow clear or if I'm a support tank with experience share, but wasn't sure if there was merit to it.
I'm going to tell you that is an incredibly selfish play. That is not the correct play. You should always be, at least, unless you are someone that is jungle invading, like Sableye, or you are trying to set up some kind of really quick KO ambush, and that has to be coordinated. Skipping the first two bunnies and letting your lane partner, especially if they're like a support or there's someone that does not do a lot of damage right out of the gate, like farming with Mew right out of the gate is terrible. Like, you only have your abilities. Your basic attacks might as well do negative damage. But the thing is that you should always be helping your lane partner clear the lane. Unless you are keeping those we call them the twin bunnies, the ones that are standing right next to each other. Unless you are just leaving those. If you're leaving those, that's a different play. That's to leave those so that you don't get evolution gated. But to just like take one bunny, run all the way down the lane just to go score early so that you can get your quick stack in, one is going to get you KO'd because the the other two people are going to come down the lane, they're going to see you standing on their pad, and they're just going to beat the crap out of you. And two, you're leaving your lane partner to just farm everything, and they're going to take forever to get down to the lane.
Yep.
So now they're late to the middle in DD, which now they're going to lose that, and now they're probably going to lose their own farm because you got KO'd, and now they're pushing onto your pad. So it's an incredibly selfish play. You should not be doing that. You should never be doing that. It does not make any sense. And you should, unless you are laning with somebody that has incredibly quick clear, and you're like, let's say you're laning as like Dodrio, and you're laning with someone that has a really, really good clear on Mons, on lane farm, then maybe you could get away with it because Dodrio's really fast and can get out. But I would have to say 99% of the time, don't make that play. Don't do that.
So I'm going to ask on the opposite end of that. I've actually seen where you and a lane partner will clear everything down to the last two Bunnelbees and then run past the last two Bunnelbees and leave those. What's the reason behind that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The ones that are just next to each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot of competitive teams refer to those as the twin bunnies, and they'll leave them so that, say you're going up against a really tough lane, like you're going up against, like an Espeon, let's say an Espeon Slowbro lane. That's probably one of the toughest lanes in the game right now. You're going up against Espeon Slowbro, and you're playing as Jigglypuff, or you're playing as Wigglytuff, and you're stuck as a Jigglypuff, and you're like really close to evolving, but now they have an Espeon and a Slowbro, and they're just taking everything from you. Those bunnies are there so you can walk back and take those bunnies safely because they're all the way in your flux zone, you can take those safely and evolve and get your power spike. So people will leave those
Got it.
just to be able to do that, just in case they know, if they know they're going up against a hard lane.
Got it. Okay. Shaxo, you're up next in our queue, friend. So go ahead and type your question in chat for us.
Yep, and just remember, guys, it's exclamation point question. You will be put in the queue, and then we will get to your question in order.
All right, so Shaxo is asking, if you have a Mamo and Comfey, should you use the Fang move with high horsepower?
Mamo Comfey. I mean, Ice Fang is very situational. In the current meta, it's really not great unless you're going up against something like, like Sword Dog or Urshifu, because they have to get close to you. And, with a Comfey with Magical Leaf, you could probably get off a really good Ice Fang. But the meta is really, really heavy on special attack mages right now because of the introduction of Slick Spoon. So Slick Spoon is like a really, really good item. So the thing is that if you are trying to go Ice Fang Mamo, you're just going to get kited. Like, people are just going to run away from you. And it's not as useful as you think it would be. Like, the Comfey stun is great. Like, don't get me wrong, like the Comfey stun, fantastic. And if you can, you're probably going to get you're going to get one or two really big catches, and that'll be really good for your team. But overall, you're going to find yourself more often than not, everyone's going to be like just out of your range for Ice Fang, and it's going to be a rough game for you. So until they have a way for you to get closer to mages, or they find a way to, like bring other junglers and everything else like back into the meta, like really, really well, it's going to be, honestly, Icicle Crash is going to be your better bet.
Awesome. Allegior is back in the queue, and I believe this is going to be another experience share question.
All right.
Got a lot of questions today. I'm loving this.
Hey, if you got questions, we got answers.
Oh, Allegior was ready to go. Okay. For solo queues, I've started running XP share on almost every mon unless I secure a jungle role. This guarantees my early levels to snowball by initial farming abilities to be able to decide if I share XP with my randoms if they seem competent, or have the option to just farm myself if necessary. Example, Pikachu support XP share Espeon A9, something that has equal carry potential but offers CC and utility as well. I lose an item slot, but it's consistent. Thoughts on this strat?
Whew. The problem with that is that you're losing your carry potential, because you're sacrificing an item slot because you're anticipating that your randoms are going to be shit. So it's going to help you early to mid game, and it's going to help you get your levels and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But like, now you have to think about it from a standpoint, like, say you have a good team. Say like you walk in and you're like, you have a really good team, and you're the person with the XP share, but you're the carry. Like, you're the Espeon, you're the Sylveon, you're like one of the damage Pokemon. You took away a damage slot from yourself. Like, you're using a support item because you wanted to make sure that your levels are up, but now you are gating yourself with an EXP share on the potential of doing more damage. It's like, so let's take, Espeon. A normal build for Espeon is, Wise Glasses, Slick Spoon, and Choice Specs. Very common Espeon build. What are you taking off to put an EXP share on? You know what I mean? Like, you're either taking off, if you take off the Wise Glasses, you're taking off a chunk of percentage damage. You take off your Choice Specs, you're taking off, those big pops where you do way more damage than you anticipated. If you take off your Slick Spoon, now, well, you're getting you have to deal with the full brunt of someone's special defense. So you're taking away this option just to make sure that you get levels, instead of, if your teammates are bad, or your lane starts to get overrun finding value elsewhere.
And honestly,
So
when you're supposed to be a damage dealer, I don't think. I mean, I understand the levels come into play when you're looking at team fight scenarios and power spikes, but I also think that as the damage dealer, especially if you're somebody like Espeon who's a ranged attacker, it's important to have those numbers on your attacks when you're in these situations, as opposed to having levels on them because you're not necessarily in their face, right?
yeah. So now here's the other thing that you have to think about is like, yes, you if you're playing with an experience share on as well, you do get a if you're by yourself just farming, then yeah, you're gonna get 100% of that XP. But here's the thing. If you're by yourself farming and the rest of your team is somewhere else, you're probably in the wrong spot. You're probably not where you're supposed to be. So you gotta you gotta understand that, like, especially when it comes to late game and everyone's gonna be running around looking for experience, this and that. If like anyone even walks near you, you're only getting 30% of all the farm that you're getting.
Yeah.
You're not. It's just for late game. It's not a good play. Like I don't. I hate to be like that blunt about it. It's just not a good play late game.
Okay. Prodi, you're up next in our Q&A queue, friend. So go ahead and type your question for us in chat. Also, Ray Rizzle, thank you so much for the follow, friend.
Toot toot.
So Prati says, hi Crunches and SoLow. Hope you're both having an amazing Saturday. As all of you know, I am from India, so my question is, like, my server players seem to use goal getters and they usually don't call for lanes and then fight for jungle and they go AFK. In ranking, it's become hard for me to rank up in solo. So any specific mon that you can guide me to play so I still carry the team as much as possible? I've always been a support main. That's actually a really good question.
Ooh,
That is a
that is
really good
the support
question.
main struggle right there.
Ooh.
That is the support main struggle right there. Oh man, I feel that one in my soul. All right. If you are going to be a solo queuer, like strictly a solo queuer, learn to play 2 mons of every role.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. Just learn how to play 2 mons of every role very well. If you are looking for something that is just like a solo carry that can just do it all by itself, Water Bear. Water Bear is one of them. Someone that doesn't need a lot of peel. Delphox. Delphox is definitely one of them. Flame Charge, Mystical Fire, Delphox. You can kind of 1v5. Let's see.
Pikachu helps team because of early game, question mark.
I'm
I don't
trying to
think Pikachu
let's run
has
down the list.
carry
I got 'em up
potential in
here.
solo queue though.
Um,
Coming from a
Glaceon's
Pikachu main.
good pick.
Last surprise.
Glaceon's a good pick. Honestly, until they nerf it, because it's coming. The nerf is coming. Lapras is a good pick.
Last surprise.
Water Bear, like I said, I will never, until now and until forever, will condone playing Zacian. Dodrio. Dodrio's another really good pick.
For carries, avoid the glass cannons, yes.
Honestly, Dodrio is an exception just because of how easily it gets away from everything. But yeah, honestly, yeah, it's just there's a couple that are like really really good right now, and I think can carry a game pretty well. So yeah, you're gonna want to either something that is very very mobile, or something that can literally just beat the crap out of the enemy team. And that's just kind of how you want to go about it, because you either want to be really slippery or you want to do a lot of damage.
Makes sense. All right, AJ, you are up next in our Q&A queue, friend. So go ahead and type your question for us in chat. AJ almost winning our 1 HP in a dream last night.
Oh, AJ.
Pikachu haters in chat. Wait, what do you mean? Pikachu is
Hey,
so
ho, 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 ho.
good.
There are no Pikachu hate in this chat.
No.
There's no Pikachu hate in this
Hi,
chat.
Sarv. No, no, Pikachu, no. It's a warning. Okay, got it. Okay. All right, we got the squad here.
All right, so wait, it was AJ that was.
Yeah, is AJ here? Might be typing.
What do you do if it's a 1v4 and you have a Cinderace?
No, not that AJ. The other AJ. AJ.
Sorry. Oh, EJ. Okay, yeah, sorry. A as in like the Canadian
Yeah.
A.
Pika's annoying to go
Gotcha.
against. I always get targeted. That's weird, Vision. It's weird. Only thing I will accept is a Lapras nerf is a Unite Charge nerf.
Yeah, the Unite Charge nerf and its sustainability. Honestly, its sustainability is just absolutely bonkers. You can easily do like 150k by yourself.
We do love Pikachu. Is AJ here?
AJ?
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 Poor AJ. He's probably typing.
It's okay. I am also a slow typer. It's fine.
Especially on mobile. Keep Lapras the way it is because it's so slow. You know, I haven't played with Lapras. I've actually
Lapras isn't slow. You can use your Unite move and get across the map quicker than anyone else.
That's true.
What do you mean?
No need to roast him. I can only hope as well as nerfing the dog we all know and hate. AJ, it's time for your question, friend.
It's time for your question. You had
It's time for your question. Yes, you're up. AJ to the stage. All right. Well, we found them.
All right. I also would like to cut off the question queue, or we're not actually going to be able to get to anything.
Got it. Okay.
So we'll do what we have in the queue right now, and then we'll move on.
Okay. So after Prati's question, we need to move on to SoLow's planned lesson for the day. We have a syllabus.
Yes, I put a lot of work into this.
God damn it. Because I'm pretty sure once SoLow starts going into his plan for today, y'all are going to have more questions too. So,
yeah, exactly. That's also what I'm.
yeah, Ninera is excited because her Pokemon have finally spoken to her, and she has discovered she is an Egg Bomb Blissey main. She's kind of a troll. Just putting that out there. But
Does she just throw eggs and not heal people?
No. She's fantastic. But her secures are wild for somebody who is literally just learning the game. Like we smurfed in rank with her on Friday. We went undefeated, but it was me and her in bottom lane, and she was Egg Bomb Blissey and I was doing Pikachu things. And her secures are stupid. I mean, it was so frustrating because she was so good. Like she was almost out securing me on everything, but she was like last hitting enemies and getting all types of KO streaks. It was just, she's wild. Okay, so AJ has a macro question. If 3 enemies are pushing a Lucky and there's 4 allies and jump pad defending it, am I wrong for offlaning and defending bottom?
Okay, so this is, if you're, I'm assuming this is talking about solo queue, because most of the people in here, I'm assuming, are solo queuers, solo duo trios. So if they're pushing a Lucky and there's only 3 of them there, and you have 4 people defending the Lucky, you have to make the assumption, okay, where are the other 2? The other 2 are either A, farming, or B, looking for an offlane push. So are you trolling by going to the offlane? No, you're not. You're protecting a pad. So the thing is, if they have a lot of people pushing the Lucky, like, and you can't tell how many are up there, you're better off going to defend the Lucky, especially so that they can't just, push it in and destroy your T2. Then you are going off lane, because if they go off lane, they're gonna score. Like, they're gonna score off lane, but they're not gonna break the off lane pad. if they have 4 people pushing in the Lecky, and because you have to remember, Lecky hits hard. Like Lecky hits real hard. So it's basically like having an extra teammate when you're pushing it. So if they have 4 people pushing the Lecky and there's 4 people on the pad and there's one person that's missing, that's probably going for an off lane score. And so what you're gonna do as the 5th person is you're gonna sit on jump pad. You're gonna sit on the jump pad, and if you see one person go down, like on your team, like if they get KO'd on your team, you're gonna jump top and you're gonna help defend that Lecky, and not worry about the off lane, because the second that they score on the off lane or the second that you jump bot, your team's gonna get overrun in the top lane because it's a 4v3 now with a Regieleki. We're gonna get overrun, especially if they have any type of like meta mons pushing it. But you want to make sure that as your team is defending the Lecky, if somebody goes for an offlane score and they're defending it fine, you can jump on the person that went for the offlane score and defend that. So it's all situational. You got to look at, the pros and cons of what you're about to do. If I jump top, it's leaving our bot pad open, but what's more important? If I jump bot, are they it looked like they were defending it well and everything was going fine, so I'm down here to defend the off lane score. You know what I mean? Which is why when you're playing in a duo trio, so I'm gonna zoom in on this real
Hi,
quick,
how are you?
because this is like the easiest way to explain this. So the Regieleki coming down this way, you always want to have someone, well, say usually your tank or your support, sit in this bush right here. Because what that's going to show is, are they pushing it? Is Regieleki, because Regieleki is going to be like right around here.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're looking for is, are they pushing this, or are they going through your jungle to go for a bot pad score? And then, so if you know this, or actually, it actually also circumvents them from trying to sideswipe you as well. But this gives you vision. This shows you where they're trying to go. So if you're playing in a trio and you have one of your trio sitting on base, being like, I don't know where to go, have one person sit here, have one person sit on this pad, and have one person sitting on the jump pad. Because now you have all of your angles taken care of.
Okay. Also, AJ, I would just like to point out that if you are getting flamed for life decisions in your friendlies, you need to reconsider where you play your friendlies. Just saying. I'm just saying. Yes, this map is amazing. Okay, so yeah, I see you, AJ. Ian, you're up next in our Q&A queue, friend. Go ahead and type your question in chat for us. I find most friendlies to not be as friendly, which is why I work very hard to make sure that my friendlies are a very safe space. Ian says, happy blessed Sunday. Crunches and solo as a solo player and mostly a main attacker. I'm having a hard time getting to 1600 every season. Do you have any tips for us to make it happen?
Okay. So if you are a solo queue attacker, I'm going to tell you this. This might be shocking information. There are a million solo queue attackers. And there are so many people that will just strictly play attacker. And they will never learn another role. Unfortunately, I'm going to assume that most of your games, because of that, are filled with, 3 attackers and no defenders or no supports. Honestly, this is the easiest thing I've found in solo queue is learn how to play the best mons in every role. And fill. Be the fill that your team needs. Because it is better to have a well-rounded team than to have, 4 attackers and an all-arounder, and now you're SOL because they're going to throw their defender in front of everything, and you're not going to be able to do anything.
One of the things that I've started doing as an attacker main, because I'm guilty of this too, I've started adopting the principle of learn at least one mon in every role. If you can get comfortable with at least one mon in every role, you should not have a problem being able to fill.
I think it's a Legior, right? Is that how you say that?
Yes.
Be the fill your team needs, but not the one they deserve. That is exactly correct. I am being dead serious. Your team may not deserve the fill you're about to give them, but it needs it if you want to keep your elo.
Would you say that probably Eldegoss might be one of the better supports to run in solo queue just because of how oppressive they are? Like, it still has carry potential as a support.
Eldegoss? Oh my god. Eldegoss is like the most user-friendly and like easiest support to pick up. It's so ridiculously easy. It's ranged. It has good healing. It has a slow built into it. Like, it's one of the easiest supports to pick up, but it's also one of the most oppressive. Like, you can, if you play a really good Eldegoss, you are gonna, like, your team is gonna love you. It is so, it could, like, a good Eldegoss is game changing. So, that's definitely a one. If I were to make a suggestion on supporters to pick up, I would say Eldegoss would be one. Blissey is another one that can be really game changing, and Hoopa. If you want to really reach for the stars and learn how to be a really good Hoopa, your team will love you.
And Hoopas are extremely annoying to go against because it doesn't matter who's on the team. They just get that extra added mobility and the heals off the bat. It's just, it's annoying. If I see a Hoopa on the other team, I already know we're going to have mobility issues. And we have to start, working around that. Hi, Squirtle.
Also, when you use your Unite move, it's like, they put that button on your ally's screen where it's like, press this button to go to the teleport. Do you know how hard it is for everybody to just not push that button? When it is there, they're like, "Ooh, I want to do that."
No, we're going in 100%. We're pushing the button.
It is almost forcing your whole team to rotate. It is almost forcing your team to rotate, and so like that's also another good. That's also another good, little byproduct of it. But yeah, those three, learning Eldegoss, Blissey, and Hoopa, and Clefable can be kind of lumped in there as well. Mm-hmm. But
Clefable's so good.
Comfey is like a little more particular. If you want to be running like a duo trio, you could run a Comfey. But like running a Comfey on your randoms, oh boy, you're going for a ride. I'm telling you,
literally,
right now, you're going for a ride.
Especially if you get randoms. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not 100% sure what Comfey actually does. So if you end up with somebody like me, I may not understand your mon well enough to help you be the best Comfey you can be. And that's just putting myself on blast, but also because, time. But I'm working on that.
Comfey is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. Comfey is great. And if you have a player that knows exactly what they're doing with a Comfey, like if you have like a really good water bear on your team, like if somebody's playing Urshifu and they have a really good usage of water bear and you're playing Comfey, you're just going to steamroll. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if you're playing Comfey well and they're playing water bear well, you're just going to steamroll like 90% of that game. But if you have someone that just ints and doesn't know when to leave or doesn't know how to play around your cooldowns or leaves you behind and is like, oh, I didn't bring them with me, you know what I mean, that isn't paying attention, you're going to have a really, really rough time.
Facts. We also recently learned that Comfey on a lane Cinder is kind of disgusting too, but we'll talk about that another time. Nanera, you are next up in the queue, friend, so go ahead and type your question. Oh, she was already ready.
He was ready.
God damn. Okay, as someone who is very new to the game and is learning how to do really silly shit because the group I play with likes to blow smoke and cause chaos for funsies, who do you play with? If I have the opportunity to steal enemy jungle as a laner, should I take it or leave it? Trying to learn differences between the silly gameplay things versus what pisses people off for serious things.
All right. That is very situational. That is like, you need something that has high mobility, because if you're in jungle invading, you want to get in and get out. Like, you want to get in, get out, and run away with their buffs. So what you're talking about is, we're going to use the top lane as an example. No, not that one. Where is it? There he is. You're talking about this. And let's say you're playing as somebody that's like infamous for this. It's Dodrio. All right. Say your first gank goes great. Like, you KO both of them, you KO the jungler, and your whole team got all the birds. Your first gank went fantastic. Okay? That makes way more sense, because one, now you're fed.
Mm-hmm.
You're above the other jungler right now. And say their jungler's a weak level 5. Say they're like a Cinderace. Cinderace doesn't come online until level 7. And so you running into this jungle and going up against, it's probably still a Raboot at this point. What's it going to do to you? Justifiably, what is, unless their whole team collapses in on you, what is this Raboot going to do to a Dodrio? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to KO them again, take both of their buffs, and leave. But as a support, now here's the thing. As a support, if you are someone that can keep up with them, so like say you're playing as Clefable or you're playing as Blissey, like you're playing as either of these two, and you're, let's see, who's a good example of this? You know what? We'll snag. There he is. Buzzwole. Buzzwole has a very strong level 5.
Mm-hmm.
But Buzzwole can get taken out pretty easily. Here's the thing. You walk into here with a healer that has their heal moves, there ain't nothing that's going to take you down. This is like, once again, what is a level 5 Cinder going to do against you? What's a level 5 Delphox going to do against you? What's a level 5 Decidueye going to do against you? You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about what the calculated risk is. Now, if their jungler is something strong, like a Water Bear, or their jungler is something strong like, let's see, you know, they have Zoroark, or, you know, they have a Dodrio themselves. You know what I mean? Like, then you have to think that's a calculated risk, and you have to understand that going in there, you can get yourself KO'd. But if they have something that is not strong early game, but is strong late game, you pretty much just steamroll that fight.
Yeah,
So,
I've also seen it too, where like even in team fight situations. Also, thank you for the hydrate, AJ. Like, let's say that you're pushing you break their bottom tier 1, or you break their top tier 1. If that jungle is up and they're on respawn, you just go take the jungle.
You take it. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, any chance that you can take their jungle and get away, like go in, take their jungle, and walk out without like getting KO'd. Any chance you have to do that, and you're not supposed to be somewhere else, like an important objective or a Regieleki pushing towards your base, like, as long as you're not supposed to be doing that, and their jungle is up, and you can walk in, take their buffs, and walk out, do it. Like, you're just stealing experience from them.
But you don't want to live there. You do not want to live there, because there's always a chance they can come back out.
You do not want to live in their jungle unless, like, honestly, I'm not even gonna condone it, because there are certain situations where you can like really get away with some BS in the jungle, but like, in all seriousness, as a rule of thumb, just take their buffs, get out.
Yeah, unless you're greedent, don't live in the enemy jungle.
Not even Greedent now. Greedent, like coordinated teams know how to take out a Greedent and how to deter a Greedent now.
Yeah.
Because it's early game. Like Greedent's early game is not as egregious as it used to be.
All right, for the purposes of time's sake, we're going to move through these next questions pretty quickly so we can get on to SoLow's lesson plan. So, AJ Winky, your question is up, friend. What do you do if it's a 4v1 and you have a Cinderace with eject button?
So, like, you're playing as the Cinderace? Or, like, okay.
Yes.
So, are we talking about, like, around a Rayquaza, around an objective, around like, they're pushing your pad? Like, what situation? Because the way that I'm going to answer this is all going to be different depending on what that is.
Oh, I think that they meant Rayquaza.
probably autocorrect.
Rayquaza. Okay.
Honestly, I never
Hide in a bush and wait for your ult.
I never condone this. If your team has completely lost the team fight, and I mean this, if your team has completely lost the team fight that you were a part of, you need to have been a part of it, and you run away from that team fight, and they don't chase you and they just start ripping Rayquaza, one, you're not gonna win a 1v4. It's just not gonna happen unless you are like the positioning god.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna win that fight. Yet at that point, you go for the steal. But the thing is, do not just hide in a bush. Do not just hide in a bush and watch your team get wiped out and then try to go for a steal. If you do that, I'm gonna do what I did to the last Cinder that did that to me, and I'm gonna lead the whole team right to where you're hiding.
Hell yeah. No, the only time you really should, and if you guys were here for last month's 1 HP in a Dream, you guys know the winning clip was hashtag Cinder Please, seen in Aranos. You should only, as a Cinder, ever hide in a bush when your entire team is gone, because you are the squishiest of squishy glass cannons, and they know that your ult has the ability to one-shot snipe Ray. So honestly, if you have a team present, if you have a front line, you should be in that team fight. If you do not have a team present, you do not have a front line, and the opposition is ripping Ray, you should be in a bush out of sight with your skill shot ready to go. And that is the only time we should ever see you in a bush as a Cinderace. Or just, expect company, because...
I'm gonna be real. If that team knows that if that team won the team fight but knows the Cinder is still up, and they didn't come looking for you and they went to go just rip it, they deserve to get it stolen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yep. All right. Next in the queue is Foxy. Foxy, your question, por favor.
Oh, thank you, Pratty.
Only real G's go Pyro Ball Cinder, though, let's be real. So when I first started playing Cinder, like way back in the day, it was Feint and Pyro Ball.
Feint Pyro Ball was really strong back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know something? Want to know a little secret that a lot of people don't know?
Tell me.
Pyro Ball resets your flame charge if you hit it.
Cinders
So
beware, you wear the pants, you're getting chased. Yeah, please don't let me see you in the Easter skin. It's on site. I will friendly fire you if I have the ability to. Foxy asks, as a defender main in solo queue, what is the best way to defend against the opposing mons?
That's a very broad question. Because there are like very, very, very almost infinite scenarios that can apply to. Are you talking about like how do you get them to focus on you so that your damage can do damage? Because I feel like that's the direction that we're kind of going in.
I also think it probably depends on which defender you're playing because I know a lot of them have moves where they can shove, but are we talking about stunning or are we talking about pushing them? Are we talking about CC?
Both.
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing. It all comes down to what defender you're playing. Like, if you are playing as a Mammo, but your damage requires skill shots, you need to understand that you can't be moving everyone everywhere. You can't be shoving people all over the place. Because if you're shoving people all over the place, your person that's like if you're playing with like a Gardevoir or you're playing with like a Gengar or something like that that requires a skill shot, if you move them with high horsepower, well, guess what? They're gonna miss their skill shots. So you also need to understand who you're playing with as a defender. And I'm going to say the easiest defender, like there's two defenders that are pretty much synchronized with any what you call that with any mons that you could think of, like any damage mons. Slowbro and Trevenant. Both of those mons, as far as their CC, you can pretty much get away with anything unless you play, what is it, Hornleech Trevenant. Hornleech will move people around and stuff like that. Lapras is another one that a lot of people do not want to play into because Lapras doesn't die. But the thing is, Lapras Bubble Beam is really, really annoying to try and get around and is a great zoning tool. You just have to know what your defender does and what your attackers need. I think is the easiest way to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need your attackers to have them stand still? Do you need them to be stunned? Do you need them to just stay away from your attackers? Are your attackers very mobile? Are they attackers that need to be able to stand in one spot and just do a lot of damage? You know, like Decidueye, Espeon, like do they do like those big pops of damage? Do you need them to just stay away so that they can get their damage off? Like, you need to know what your attackers need.
I also think, too, Foxy, is one of the things that we have planned for, Unite for Noobs as we go into it, is really looking at each role. So when we're talking about defenders, is the optimum way to utilize your defenders, and we're going to talk about the different classes of defenders. Same thing with supporters, et cetera. So, because we're just getting into this. I think this is we started March 19th. So we're like on episode 4. So we're just getting into like the nuances and trying to cover like real broad spectrum right now. So, also, if you don't want to wait for that part of the series, ! Coaching, and you can get some one-on-one coaching with Mr.
Yes,
SoLow
I
TV
do.
here.
Like, so in all seriousness, guys, like I offer coaching for literally anything you could imagine. Like, do you want to learn how to play a specific mon? I will help you. You want to learn how to improve your macro game? I will help you. If you are a team of 5 people and are thinking, we need help, what aren't we seeing about the game that the other team is seeing? I will help you. I promise. I have done all 3 of those things for people already. Like, and any questions that you have, anything like that, I literally will teach you in the way that you need to be taught.
Can confirm.
Can I teach you how
Okay.
to make pasta from scratch? Actually, yes, I could. But that's beside the point.
I believe that too. Let's get to our last 2 questions that we had on the list, SoLow, and then I want to take a quick break so everybody can kind of stretch and do what they need to do. And then we're going to come back and we're going to get into SoLow's lesson plan. If we go a little bit past noon today, I'm okay with that. I don't know what time constraints you have, SoLow.
I'm pretty much good for all day. Just probably around 3:30ish my time. I got to go pick up my daughter. So
Okay. So, but we still have UFF things to do, so I want to be mindful of that too. So, yeah, and again, we'll be back in 2 Sundays from now, but you do have the ability to 1v1 solo in terms of coaching. So, GoatCon, you are next in the queue, friend. Go ahead and type your question in chat for us. Is Shellbell good on Espeon?
it's good. I'm not going to say that it's not. It's honestly there's like a couple really good builds, and Shellbell is not. Let's put it this way: if you put a Shellbell on Espeon, you're not throwing. It's not a you're not throwing with Shellbell. It's good in the sense that, like, you might get a little more sustainability. Your cooldowns are going to come up a little quicker. But is it the best item for Espeon? I wouldn't really call it the best item, but it's not bad. If you're finding success with it, and it's like genuine success that you're finding with Shellbell, then that's perfectly fine. You're not, like I said, you're not throwing. You're using a special attack item on a special attack mon. You're doing the correct thing.
Fair enough. All right, and Prodi, you're up next in the Q&A queue, friend. So in continuing to my earlier question, like you suggested, some mons I have played and tried most of the mons, but never tried Water Bear. Do you think Water Bear is the so-called mon that's been missing? Also, how are we supposed to register for coaching if we are interested in learning? And is Water Bear the so-called center of sword annoying doggo, or counter of the sword annoying doggo? If yes, then can you suggest me the emblem build on items? So the 2-part question, but I think Prodi got his coaching question answered.
Yep,
But do
just
you think
message
Water
me on
Bear
Twitter.
is okay? So just so you guys know, and you all know, I don't do all rounder things. Like you guys know, I have W key energy on ranged attacker mons, and I've had to learn to work through that. I love Water Bear. I have been learning Water Bear. I have been using Water Bear, not in ranked, obviously, because I don't troll. But I think Water Bear is probably one of the easiest all-rounders to kind of pick up. And that's just my opinion, though. But is Water Bear A, good for carrying in solo queue, and B, a good counter to Voldy Dog?
Water Bear is a very good solo queue carry. Is it the answer to Sword Dog? I'm gonna be honest. If there was an answer to Sword Dog, it's the closest to it. Like, the only thing is, like, the thing with Sword Dog, I'm gonna teach y'all how to beat a Sword Dog. Ready? You bait it. You have to learn how to bait. You have to learn how to bait out Sacred Sword. You have to make them use Sacred Sword, bait out their cooldowns, and then jump on it.
That makes sense.
Once Sacred Sword is down, you just jump on it and you beat the crap out of it. Like,
Yeah, also Thunderbolt Pikachu is really good against Sword Dog too, for holding it in place and then just allowing people to come womp on it.
oh, stuns in general are great
Yeah.
on Sword Dog. Like, Psyshock Espeon, if you can keep Sword Dog at a range and use Psyshock Psybeam, you'll chunk it for 2/3 of its health.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
there are answers to Sword Dog. It's just like a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, it is still overpowered. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. It is one of the most the mon that needs a nerf the most. I was trying to put that sentence together, but it's a mon that needs the nerf the most out of anything in the entire game. But it exists. It is in your ranked games. It happens to be there. So at this point, you need to know how to take it down. Bait out Sacred Sword. Just wait for it to use it. Act like you're going to go in at it. It's going to use Sacred Sword. It's going to use its empowered Sacred Sword. That's going to go down. And then once those are down, you literally just stun it and jump on it. That's how you take out Sword Dog, in all seriousness.
Yeah. It's probably the only way. I'm going to let Squirtle's question slip in real quick, just because he's the last one in the queue, and I have a feeling he'll have probably a very succinct question, and then we'll take a quick break. But Squirtle, if you want to go ahead and type your question in the queue for us, friend. Prati will items and emblems on bear in the best lane. We can so in the Crustle Hustle, Prati, if you belong to Crustle Hustle, they actually have a section where they talk about emblem builds. And honestly, I think we could probably message you something helpful for Water Bear.
Yeah, I can honestly probably just add me on Twitter and or add me on Discord or get in the Crustle Hustle Discord, and honestly I'll just send you a couple builds.
So Squirtle's asking, when you're in the middle of fighting another team for objective, top Reggie, bottom Reggie, or Ray, how do you know when it's the right time to rip? That's actually a really good question too.
The right time to rip the objective. Okay. So this is very, very, very I want to say this is very situational. You need to understand that just because all of the conditions that I'm about to give are met, it might still not be the right time to rip, but it is going to be the safest time to rip. If you are a team or you are a person that is always trying to completely KO the enemy team before ripping Rayquaza, you are losing more games than you think you are. And I want you to understand that. When it comes to ripping an objective, you want to take out their damage and take out their secure. So if they have an Espeon on their team, they have a Decidueye on their team, they have a Cinderace on their team, those are your primary objectives right there. You want to take them out.
Mm-hmm.
If they are gone, if they are off the field and they are on like a 25 second death timer, then you look for the thing that can interrupt, that has the next best secure. So you want to say, like, let's see, they have two, let's say they have two people down and the rest of your team has completely like zoned them out, like pushed them out of the Rayquaza pit. So their tank is pushed out of the Rayquaza pit, their all-arounder was pushed out of the Rayquaza pit, and let's say their last person was their support. So their jungler and their attacker are down. Okay. You have those three pushed out of the pit. And you have complete control. Your defender is zoning. Your jungler and your secure are free. Rip it. Just rip the Rayquaza. You have control of the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another situation. You have 4 members of the other team down, and they're on long death timers. But the person that you didn't take out was their secure. Like their Espeon, their Decidueye, their something. That person's still lurking around. And you have, 4 people up usually. Like usually one person gets taken out during the fight. So we'll say you have 4 people up, but your rip is still up. Rip it. Rip the Rayquaza. What's gonna happen? If through some miracle their secure outsecures 4 people, they have 1 shield.
Yeah. And then you turn it into a 4v1.
1 Rayquaza shield.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn on that person and you rip their shield. And the thing is that that's a good play if you're ahead in points. That's one thing you got to remember is like that's a good play if you're ahead in points. Because the thing is like, okay, you rip their shield and then you just go defend your pads. But here's the problem is that if you're behind in points and that happens, well, now you got to try and siege a goal. So,
yeah. And at that point, you push as a team, right?
Yeah, you always push as a team. Oh my god, that is one thing. If you secure Rayquaza or you don't secure Rayquaza and you're trying to like come back, push as a team. And when I say that, I don't mean just throw your bodies at the goal. Treat it as like you're fighting a team fight.
Mm-hmm.
Position yourself correctly. Like move yourself out of the way so you're not getting taken out. Like put the most optimal amount of damage on the enemy. Don't just throw yourself at the goal and try and score. Take them out. Make it a disadvantageous situation for them. like I'm sure you guys have been part of a comeback that has been like, all right, we're all just gonna push this goal, and all of a sudden you KO one of them. It's like, oh crap, we got one. To take out another one, take out another one. Now it's 3v2. I'm sorry, now it's like 5v2. You need to be able to like push a goal if you don't win. Like, don't just give up. If they secure Rayquaza, they score 500 points in all of your goals and then return to their base, and there's not even enough points on the map to like come back. That's a different situation. Then you can kind of just FF it and be like, all right, we're done. Like, that's fine. But if they were only ahead of you by 100 points, they ripped you ripped Rayquaza, but they stole it. They got one shield. You ripped that shield down, and you're behind by 100 points. Siege a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Just like go after a goal. Like do it. Like just don't give up because Rayquaza's gone. Like there are so many matches that you can still win if you just don't give up on it.
Squirtle has a follow-up question to that and wants to know if there is a time that backcapping during Ray is permissible, because this is like probably the most controversial thing aside from experience share in Pokemon Unite right now.
I'm going to tell you, I don't feel good about what I'm going to say because I feel like it's condoning things. And I want you to understand that other than the very specific situation that I am about to give you, there is no time that you should be backcapping during Rayquaza. And no, AJ, if not every time Nouns tried to backcap, they lost. If you paid attention, every time they tried to backcap during AOS Cup, they lost.
I saw it.
If say the enemy has a tier 1 goal still up, all right. So we're gonna use the map here. Say this one is gone, but this one's still up here. All right. And Rayquaza is up. You take out, the enemy team, but they're on respawn timers. So let's just say two of your people are down. Your Rip and your Secure are gone. So you are the all-arounder, you are the defender, and you're the support. Those are the only 3 people that you have up. But the rest of the enemy team is KO'd, or most of the rest of the enemy team is KO'd. Okay? There is no world where a all-arounder, a defender, and a support rip Rayquaza in time before the respawn timers come up. Okay? So you need to, process that real quick and understand that. So that is the only situation where going up here and dunking is okay. You need to understand that it is... It's so hard because, like, I want to make sure that I'm phrasing this the right way so people don't just do this and, like, think that it'd be like, oh, well, SoLow told me that it's okay to backcap during raid. Like, no. It is not okay to backcap during raid. It is only okay to do... to dunk points when the enemy team is down, but you don't have enough rip to take down Rayquaza. Mm-hmm. That is the only point where that is okay, because now you're giving yourself a point lead, and you're giving yourself a point lead for the refight. Now, if you're giving yourself a point lead for the refight, that is going to happen because all the team's members are going to come back. If you're giving yourself a point lead for the refight, now they have to play into you. Now they have to make a move. Like I said before, going into Rayquaza with a point lead is very important because it forces the people that don't have the point lead to make a move because they need Rayquaza to win.
Oh, Rixel brings up a good point. What about using backcap as a decoy?
I don't condone it.
Yeah.
I don't. I refuse
it's risky.
to condone that.
So
now look at it this way. They see you going. They see you going for a backcap and they don't go for you. They don't take the bait. You left your team in a 4v5.
Yeah. So again, just to paraphrase, backcapping at Ray, extremely conditional. We talk about a lot of if-then situations, but this is the one where if this criteria is not met 100%, don't do it.
Specific scenario that it is okay.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. And don't put SoLow's name in your mouth either if you if it doesn't work out.
If you back up during Ray, I swear to whatever deity you believe in, I swear, if you use my name to say that I said it was okay to back up at Ray, I will drag you through the streets.
We have receipts. I saved the VODs. We have receipts. Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back. I think we could probably go until about like 12:15 ish on this one, so we'll give SoLow a chance to go through his lesson plan. So we're gonna take a quick BRB. No words on stream for you guys today. Sorry. Bye.
We're too expensive.
School. Now get out. I'm dead.
This mammoth one is really upset with
No!
me. You live.
Oh, they're upset. 1 HP in a dream. 1 HP in a dream. Yeah,
Oh, clip that! Clip it! Oh, I lived! Broshi, you're goated! Oh, that was my last breath!
I'm gonna take this too. Thank you very much.
Did she vent? She said she had upload.
Oh my god, it's death. I just saw him kill
Hold up.
Crunches.
Why would I? Okay, for one, why would I kill Crunches? The one I said
Why are
wasn't
you
it.
trying to frame me? Oh my god.
Because you're trying to frame me. Okay, so this is what happened.
Oh my god,
Okay,
Death.
go
I
ahead.
hate you. If you don't get voted out, I will hate you.
Okay.
Oh my god. He literally just killed Crunches.
Be quiet.
Okay.
On download.
This is the order in which I saw.
Pet the cat?
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Tangled Web Games cheered X1000, pissed. You're all good. Much love FRENDO.
Off Panda for a second. I just want to see something for science.
You know. You know what?
Thank you. Bye.
No!
Pass me back for earlier.
I was like, I gotta be quick. Nope, not quick enough. Emotional, damn it!
That was so
Wait, can you make another one of those so Kimmy can ride a piggy too?
Look, they're all following Panda because he's got a carrot.
Come along, my friends. We're going to the
Army.
Oh, Panda, it looks like Landmark.
Okay. First of all,
They're like slowly trailing off.
I have an army.
Panda, it's all your exes.
Oh my god.
No?
Okay.
Toxic.
Who, me?
Oh my god. This is gold.
Oh my. Sam, don't encourage her.
Fantastic, thank you, sir.
We were triple digits earlier doing into November.
Oh, trust me, Soko's the first motherfucker I'd take out.
Oh my god!
Too many opportunities.
What did I
do?
You
Because
quit,
he
you
takes out Big
bitch.
Brain. Hello, Big Brain Collective gets taken out first, always.
That's right.
It's getting spicy.
Well, I voted for Panda.
One part. Okay, so what you have to do is after a certain point, you stay on the tile.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. Most of my clips come from people laughing at my pain, so just I appreciate people.
Makes best entertainment.
True. I mean, I'm here for everybody's entertainment. So, yeah, welcome back. Let's get into the actual lesson plan for today. We do have SoLow, I think, for about another like 30 minutes. So If you have questions, if you have questions, exclamation point question, and we'll get to them. Squirtle, I'm about to send the group chat a DM, FYI, regarding timing for today. So take it away, SoLow.
All right. So last time we talked about all the way up until the 8-minute birds was where we left off for as far as macro play.
That was as far as we got.
That is literally as far as we got.
Okay.
We had so many questions about early game, and I appreciate it because early game is actually very, very, very important. As to whether you're going to get steamrolled late. So, let's see. Now we're going to talk about first objective. Now, let's see. If you are in the top lane, let's see. We're gonna put this in like a normal team scenario. All right. So we're gonna put Luca up here. We're gonna put Fable up here. We'll say our jungler is, who should our jungler be? We'll go with a classic. We'll say our jungler is Cinderace. We have Tree. And our attacker should be Espeon. Beautiful. All right.
Espeon gang.
Espeon gang. All right. So, let's see. It's getting to about 7:30 right there. So about this time, you should be processing your plan to what you're going to do here, right? If you are in the top lane, you should be understanding that right at, I can't do like very, like, nope. All right. So at 7:20, these birds come back up, right? They're all beautiful birds. All right. These all now these respawn at 7:20. These are important, especially if you were kind of womped on in your top lane. You want to take these. Luca can take these really fast, especially if at his E speed, or at this point you should have close combat. Should be able to take these out no problem. Now you take these out. Luca at 7:20 will start these. The Clefable, however, your support, should already be making their way down to here. Because you want to have as much presence as possible in this bot lane for when this Reggie inevitably spawns. Because you want to have the good positioning. You want to be able to overtake most of these birds. You want to make sure that you are getting early KOs if you can. Don't overextend. What I mean by overextend, don't live on their side while everybody's trying to position and get yourself KO'd. But have a presence in this bot lane. Make sure that the enemy knows you are there and are scared to push into you. So your jungler should be reaching for level 9. If you are playing as a jungler, your objective every match is to reach for level 9 or your ult, because I'm going to say that because Glaceon gets their ult at level 8. So you're going to be reaching for your ult by this first objective. You want to have your ult for that first objective, no matter what.
If you're the jungler, right?
If you are the jungler,
okay,
that is what you are reaching for. Now, there comes a point where if you're losing, and like you lost a couple times, you have to come to terms with the fact that you're not going to have your ult. It is more important for you to show up to that objective while it is happening than it is to get your ult. Because if you get your ult and then don't show up because you were farming your ult and the objective gets taken and now they're pushing your pad, well, what good's your ult gonna do for you there, other than possibly get like a pick or two on them for pushing your pad? But you gave them the experience lead. That's the problem. Now, this person, your all-arounder, once these birds are gone, you're gonna make your way down, 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 down. Beautiful. There are certain scenarios, and it's very usually in coordinated team play, where the all-arounder will stay top to match their all-arounder. Like, say, like their all-arounder is Buzzwole, and they're like, I really want to get fed on Buzzwole, and I want to make sure that I get all of my stacks, and this and that. Now it just becomes an all-arounder 1v1 and a 4v4 down bot. That is possible. But if you are losing your lane, like, say the lane, you completely, like, lost your lane, you want to make sure all of your firepower is down here to make sure that you can try and get this first objective. Because, man, oh man, flipping that first objective and getting that comeback experience and being able to siege their goal. Oh, I forgot. This has like a weird dead zone. I'm just going to use the portal. Being able to siege their goal after taking the objective offers so much more experience. Like, it offers so much experience, and you guys, like, you can't even comprehend that. It's like, it's so important in solo queue. A lot of people don't understand that, and they still prioritize Regieleki, and it's like, this is what we always talk about as the solo queue experience. But here is a nice little play for you guys. And it is something a lot of people don't think about, especially not in solo queue, but every once in a while you will get somebody that will do this. That will do this with you. So say before the first objective, like very before the first objective even happens, you guys break this base right there. So like say it's 7-10 and you break that base right before the objective comes up. And, you know, it was on, you know, like 10. Like, say the bot lane was doing really good. Like, it was sitting on 10 points. So you break it and you take the objective, right? Now, what would people normally do at this point?
Rotate
like
top for Lucky.
The Regieleki is so like the enemy team. Like, you have to think from their thought process. Crap, we lost the bot objective. We need to find value somewhere. They're going to send everything they have up here, because if they send everything up here, they can at least try to get value out of the Regieleki. So the play, especially if you're doing something coordinated, like a coordinated 5 stacks, you can take your defender usually and your support usually, unless they're the ones that have like a lot of points. Then you take the people that have like the least amount of points and you send them to go guard T1. So like in this situation, we'll just say it's the Trevenant. So we'll be like, all right, Trev, go guard T1. And all they are going to do is hold out this base as long as possible.
Okay.
These other 4 people are gonna rip this, and they are going to just free walk
Tier
to
2.
T2.
Now, what happens if the opposing team doesn't rotate for a Lucky and they decide to stay and push the bottom objective anyways, even though their tier 1 is down?
Then, I mean, like, they can do that. It's, you know, the teams will do that. But here's the thing. If they do that, you still have your whole T1 open. Like, you can just retreat, grab a berry, and come back. The thing, they have nothing. They don't have a T1.
So it's not a smart
So their
team fight
fight's not
situation
even-
for them.
If they're basically throwing themselves at a disadvantageous situation in hopes for a steal. Like, that's pretty much all it is.
Okay.
So most times, sometimes they'll be lucky and they'll catch a KO and they'll, you know, like, get the comeback experience. Most time they're just walking into the meat grinder. They're just walking into an entire team that's down here, and it's going to be a 1v4 or a 2v4, and they're going to lose.
Got it. Okay.
So if you push this T2 as a team, and even like say all these people are up here and say like they just have, one like random attacker down here that's just farming this stuff down here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and now all of a sudden you got 4 people pushing in on you. They're going to either A, get KO'd, or B, retreat. Those are their only 2 options. 4v1, even on a T2, you're going to lose.
Okay.
So they're going to retreat. And even if they are in communication with any of the people up here, it is still before the 5-minute mark. 5-minute mark is when you get jump pads. There are no jump pads.
Okay.
So even if they recall the base, they still have to come out of base and walk all the way down here. They are not going to do that in time. You will get all your scores off. It will, unless they do some weird mystery push and don't even prioritize Regieleki at all. But it's free points. You're putting yourself ahead in a really advantageous position. And so but the thing is, what's going to happen here? They're going to do one of 2 things. This Trevenant is going to, they're going to ignore the Trevenant because it's annoying to try and take down. And they're going to, just go for the Regieleki. And at that point, the Trevenant just lets it happen and defends the pad as long as they can. Because at that point, what's going to happen is they're going to take Regieleki. All of these people are done scoring. They're going to back to base. And they're just going to walk up the lane and defend the Regieleki.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? Like, they're either going to defend it, or the tree gets KO'd, which is a very high possibility. As Regieleki walks into T1, and they score on T1. Okay. And
Yeah.
they just gave you an entire set of Indeedis.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay.
Oh, God.
No, I was going to say we do have a couple of questions, I'm assuming pertaining to what you just went over.
Yeah, the first objective is very important. It's one of those things where a lot of people get tripped up on what to do, where they should be. So I definitely anticipated a couple of questions for this. All right.
Sarv, you were first in the question queue, so go ahead and type your question in chat. When would the all-rounder want to rotate down more aggressively towards the enemy versus towards your tier 1?
Okay, so let's just say they are coming down probably by the time all the birds are taken out, they're making their way. They're probably around here at around probably 7:10, 7:05. It's usually about the time, I'd say. So if they're making an aggressive play, so you're talking about walking down here and walking this way, making just like an aggressive play on their back line, that is a play that you can make, and it's actually one that usually catches a lot of people off guard. But here's the thing, is that you have to make sure that one, your team is in position for that, and your team's not getting like completely obliterated. So, like if you're all set up down here and, they're fighting, they got all their people set up where they're supposed to be. Where is he? There. Also, I am putting people where I would position them. So if you want free positioning information, here you go.
Take notes, people.
Let's zoom in a little bit there. There we go. All right. So let's see. So obviously Snorlax isn't going to just like walk out in this, but we're assuming that the fight broke out. All right. So you have positioning here. They're they're trying to, set something up down here. Let's just grab this. They're trying to push into Registeel here. And so like they're I'll say Water Bear. is going to be trying to get to the back line. They have blah, 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 blah. We'll say they have Slowbro. That's here. And they'll have their support. Let's see. What do we want their support to be? Make their support be Blissey. So their Blissey is going to be here as like their Blissey's probably actually going to be up here trying to keep the Urshifu alive. All right. So now as an all-arounder, making an aggressive play, one, you have to make sure that you can KO the person you're going for. Because if you can't, you are going to get yourself killed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. Because you're diving on top of some of the highest damage people in the game. If you can't get your KO off, you are screwing your team more than you're helping your team. But if you have somebody like Lucario, who with power-up punch, close combat, or E-speed can take out either one of these, which will swing the fight completely in your favor, you are coming back this way. Do not go across their goal because you want your direct beeline. And you are going to come in and you are going to sideswipe and do as much damage as humanly possible and take them out before they even have a chance to react. It is a play. It's a smart play when all the chips fall your way, and it can win your team the first team fight. Because what's going to be happening here, the Snorlax is going to have to move down because the Water Bear is going to be right here. It has to get in the way of the Water Bear. This Espeon's going to be sitting right here trying to, fire damage in and getting ready for a secure if need be. And this Mew, because it has such a long range, and this Gardevoir, because it has such a long range, are just hanging back.
Mm-hmm.
Just firing damage into the fight. So if you can take out one of these two, you're taking out their secure potential.
Yeah. Okay.
So you need to understand that yes, it is a risk, but it is a calculated risk, and you need to understand if you are going to do that, your micro play with the mon that you are using has to be on point, because if you don't take out the person that you want to take out and you get steamrolled instead, you're putting your team at a 4v5.
Does that answer your question, Sarv? Don't snap back a move and get the KO. Got it. Yes.
Don't snap back. Yes.
Yeah. Don't whip a skill shot like me. All right, SoLow.
All right. Did I have anyone else?
No, Squirtle said his question was answered.
All right, beautiful. All right, so we talked about the T2 push. Now, the T2 push is obviously not always going to be a thing, especially not in solo queue, because your teammates kind of just do their own thing. All right. We're going to talk about mid-game. Mid-game is where a lot of people get tripped up. It's where people are kind of just wandering around. They're fighting for no reason. What you call it, like they're doing this, that, and the other thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's where your teammates start their intelligence is starting to really show through as to where they are supposed to be. So, here's the thing. You in the mid game, fighting for no reason. Make sure the fight you are taking has a purpose. Make sure that you are taking a fight for a reason. Farm all of the farm on your side before you do anything else. Also, make sure that you're going for contested farm. Make sure if you are a squishy attacker, because these are going to spawn every, minute 30? No, not minute 30, minute 20. So, when you are going for this farm, when you are going for this farm and you are a squishy attacker, don't go by yourself. Going for as an Espeon to this by yourself, you're asking to get wiped out.
Yeah.
Like, you're asking to get jumped on. Go with your defender. Go with the person that can peel for you. Like, and if you're playing as a defender, have your, like lead your attackers to the farm.
So I have a question here. When we're talking about going to, let's say, the first set of mid farm, right? The 8-minute birds. Let's say in a situation like on Friday, I'm Pikachu and I'm laning with an experienced share Blissey. Do I leave my Blissey in lane to go get this farm in mid? Do I send Blissey to mid, or do we both abandon bottom lane to go mid and secure farm? What is this? What is the move in this situation?
Okay, so this is, so we're gonna talk about like the tier system of decision making here. Ready? So you were Pika and you were Pika, Blissey in the bot lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you were. This?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. And what lane were you going up against? Do you remember?
Let's say we had a, what was it, Ninera? We had Espeon Slowbro.
Oh boy.
I think we had an Espeon Slowbro lane.
Espeon and there's Slowbro. All right, beautiful. All right, these are spawning. It is 8 minutes. Beautiful. All right. This is happening, and if you're both on your side, and you don't know where the enemies are, right? You have no idea where they are. They're not on your side. They're not near the middle of the map. Whatever. You both go to this. Okay.
Okay.
Both of you go to this. If the 8 minutes are about to hit, and you're both here, and both of these people are still down here, and they're not starting to move towards the 8, also show up to things early. It's like the old saying: if you're if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Show up to 8-minute birds at like 8:10, 8:05. Show up because then you can get positioning. But if this is happening and you know that these two aren't making a move, and they're going to stay down in this lane and try and secure farm, the Blissey stays, the Pikachu goes.
Okay.
Because now you are distracting 2 with 1.
Okay.
That kind of make a little more. Now if the Blissey sees that these two start to make their way towards them, that's when the Blissey goes, oh crap, and starts making their way back up towards the bees because they want everything to be even. Now, say they do what you do and they only send the Espeon and the Slowbro stays down here. Honestly, my take on it is that the Blissey should go. You want numbers here.
Okay.
You want to play the numbers game. But because like really what's like a Slowbro is going to take a couple pieces of farm, but like securing this for your team and possibly getting a couple KOs is huge experience swing your way.
Okay.
And if they're fighting with 4 and you're fighting with 5, you should win. Like,
and if your whole team shows up and you guys are able to take that, you can also pick a lane to crash and push a tier 1 at that point, right?
That's a little that's a nice little play that you can do too, but that's more that's more giving away the keys to the castle. I know I know there are a couple teams that I know that make that play that literally like came up with that play, and I'm not too sure if they'd be too happy with me with the insider information giving all of that away.
Got it.
But yeah, these birds, I'm telling you, these birds in the middle, like they're a huge part of the early game, and so many people in solo queue just don't show up for them. They never show up. So I cannot tell you how many times in solo queue I'll be playing as a jungler, or I'll playing as like Zoroark and lane or something like that, and I'll go to these 8-minute birds and like nobody shows up, and I just get them all to myself, and I just get like I could basically get a whole level off of them.
We do have a question in the queue.
All right,
Foxy,
Shoot.
if you want to go ahead and put your question in chat. Yeah, and everybody realistically, if you're aware that 8 minutes is coming, everybody take the initiative to make sure you call that out too, because the more of your team that shows up when it's possible, the better your chances are of securing. What do you think of Talonflame and Comfey in lane together? Ooh.
Talonflame with a Comfey that has Magical Leaf already is very strong. But that as a lane by itself is really fragile. So my suggestion would be to switch up the lanes early and then have the Comfey and the Talonflame meet once they hit their power spikes.
That wouldn't be possible in like duo queue because everybody else would have to be in on the gag then, right?
Yeah, everyone would kind of have to be in on and like know what's happening in order for that to work, but yeah.
Okay. Tidley, you are next in the queue. Go ahead and put your question in chat, friend. Star said, Mosh and I have been running at top lane in duos. It gets us bow stack early in Steel Farm. Ooh.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. You can be oppressive early. It's just if they catch one of you, they're getting both of you.
So maybe don't go against like Slowbro and Water Bear with it.
Oh, you need something from down here, bud? Yeah. Oh, all right. Here, come here. We're gonna have a little guest star.
Let's see the little. Let's have it. In the meantime, I'll read Tidley's question. Tidley says, you talk about the importance of the birds. What do you do if you can't get anyone to come as the jungler?
Talk about the importance of the birds. What do you do if you can't get anyone to come as the jungler? Play safe.
Back
safe.
out. Leave.
Get what you can and back out. Yes, this is my little one.
This is our little Unite noob. Look at him.
This is Oliver.
Aww. Say hi to the people. Junior coach, yes.
Say hi.
He's gonna oversee our development department.
He's like, whoa, what is going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a toss up. If you can't get your team to rotate, or if like they just can't get there, if you run into a situation you're the only one there and they have numbers on you, just get what you can and get out.
Yeah, honestly, that's like almost for any situation. If you can't get people to be where they're supposed to be, yeah, you tell them. If you can't get people to be where they're supposed to be, just take what you can get and leave.
Makes sense. Oliver's looks are about how I feel every solo coaching session. That's a lot of info. which is why we put the VODs up. This is why we put the VODs up, and honestly, like the ability to go back and even, with SoLow's series, just to kind of reabsorb the information and put it into practical application at your pace is so good for, just kind of reinforcing it, making sure that seed gets all the way down in that dirt.
Because I know my pace, like the pacing that I have for Unite for Noobs is like, I'm like rapid firing information. Like I am like just like throwing out all this information at once. It's hard to like retain everything that's happening, which is why I'm glad we do keep the VODs. And that's why I do like encourage people to get coaching, because I can kind of slow it down and really break things down for people to a level where they can like understand exactly why this is happening, why you need to position this way. You know what I mean? Like it's more personalized. Like right now I feel like I can only get so much information out. Yeah, I know you see your bottle. All right. But yeah, it's like, that's why I like being able to coach people personally, one-on-one, or like 1-on-5 if I'm doing a team scenario. But yeah, it's a lot more helpful. I can explain a lot more. So.
All right, Solo, how much time do we have left with you today?
What are we getting ready to leave? After that. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm asking. After that bottle. Yeah. All right. So I got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Not even.
All right. Solo coached me once for an hour, and I've gotten MVP every match since. Goated. Goated.
Nemi's my number one cheerleader. But all right. So with that, that's first objective. The lull match. Like I said, in mid game, don't fight for no reason. Make sure everything that you're doing has a purpose. Make sure that you're going for farm. Make sure that if you're squishy, you're not going by yourself. Make sure that if you are a person with experience share, that you're farming with someone so that you're getting the extra 30% of experience to, out of thin air. So, you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of like micro decisions that add up to having good macro play. So it's you have to make sure that what you're doing makes sense in the sense of the match. If you're losing, make sure you get your levels, get your farm, make sure you're trying to push an off lane together, make sure you're trying to get your team to like group up and push the lane that the objective isn't in. Because going to an objective, you lose. We talked about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you are ahead, now here's where a lot of people lose their games, is that if you're ahead and you're like, wow, we're winning, we have the level lead. Okay, that's cool. They haven't broken any of your bases. Guess what? They have more farm. They can just catch up to you. You need to be making pushes onto their side of the map. If you have your level lead, you need to kind of bully them a little bit, and you need to bully them for their farm. You need to take the farm. You have to keep your level lead if you have one. So you need to like push over onto the other side. You need to take their farm. You can't just be sitting on your base and waiting for that one ball toy to spawn and then think that that's going to be okay and stay ahead. You need to push forward. You need to take farm. You need to wall them off from their farm. You need to make sure that they can't go off of their base safely. You know what I mean? Like you need to do things to keep your lead and keep yourself ahead. And if you're behind, you need to do stuff to even out the levels and get back in the game. You know what I mean? So like it's do what makes sense for the situation that you're in.
Makes sense. Well, Solo, thank you so much once again for donating your time and your expertise.
Of course.
I will just put it out there one more time that if you would like one-on-one or one-on-5 coaching from Solo, you can use !coaching to get his information, as well as his YouTube series that is concurrent with our sessions here on his YouTube called Beginner to Masters. If you do !B2M, that should pull up his information as well. We will be back 2 weeks from today. We'll be continuing our discussion on micro and macro play until we get through the whole 10-minute timer.
Yeah, you guys definitely kept me busy with the questions, but next time, like, that takes care of most of the mid game. Mid game, like I said, is where a lot of people fall off. So it's just do what makes sense. But the end game is going to be where we're going to be talking about Rayquaza, how you should be playing Rayquaza fights and things like that. So.
Yes, and to Nem's point, yes, Solo also does stream on Twitch, so if you're not already following him, make sure you go over and drop a follow as well. I did have to take a week off
because I had a lot of stuff that needed to be done around my house, but I do stream on Twitch, so I'm usually on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So.
So we're going to go raid Psyche. Right now, Psyche is a member of our Unite Femme Fatales content creation team. We're very excited to have her on board. So for right now, if you are a follower, you can use raid text 1. If you are a subscriber, you can use raid text 2. We're going to go over and say hi to Psyche. And later today, as I promised, Solo and Squirtle and I are going to begin the review process for the application submitted for the Unite Femme Fatales competitive team. So, !UFF if you want some more information, if you're interested in applying for any of our teams, if it's the competitive, the content creation, or behind the scenes. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will be working on putting that together and hopefully making some formal announcements by the end of May. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you connecting with me on Unite for Noobs and putting this information out here into the Unite community.
Oh, cut it out.
Oh. All right.
No, I got him riled up. That's Link. He's the hero of Hyrule.
Nice.
He's being a goober.
All right, fam.
But, all right.
Make sure you guys go follow SoLow. Thank you guys so much for being here. Yes, and for your questions. As always, I will be releasing my stream schedule for this week coming up shortly, some point today. We appreciate you guys. Without you guys, there would be no Unite for Noobs. Other than that, we're going to go say hi to Psyche. So we'll see you all later.
Bye.